The Prime Minister says some tough words today about what the fascist Islamist government in Iran is doing to us and the world. But he won't lift a finger. Now, this is incredible, this story, because a bunch of rebels in Yemen, that's a country most people couldn't even find on a map, they're causing havoc with world trade and making imports even here more expensive. They're Islamist Houthi fighters. They're funded and armed by Iran. And the reason they're a problem is that Yemen, where they are, is at the gates of the Red Sea, leading to the Suez Canal, which is actually one of the world's most important sea routes. And they've been firing missiles and attack drones at ships there to punish Israel. They've even hijacked a couple of ships. Now, the US and other countries like Britain have had to send warships there to protect the freighters going past. But already traffic through the canal has been cut by anything up to 90% compared to a year ago, with ships taking the long and more expensive route around Africa instead for freight between Europe and Asia. Now, we trade mainly directly with Asia, so this doesn't hurt us so much, but it does affect us because the longer transport of the rest of the world, that means there's a shortage of containers, and that, of course, means more supply chain delays. Now, the Americans did ask us to send a ship to help shoot down these drones and missiles, protect the shipping, but it seems our Navy is so weak, so undermanned, and so ill-equipped that Albanese said we couldn't spare a single one. Can you imagine what China thinks looking at that? But Albanese today did attack Iran with words.
Iran should stop meddling. And Iran is playing a very destructive role in the region.
I tell you, if words were rockets, we'd be a world power. Joining me is Jack Keane, a retired four-star general who served as Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army. He's now Chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General Keane, thanks so much for your time again. Look, how serious is this Houthi threat to shipping and the effects of this around the world?
Well, I think it's pretty serious, Andrew. I mean, they have actually expanded the war. I mean, obviously Israel and Hamas are fighting in the Gaza Strip, and there's been two serious expansions, certainly by Hezbollah into northern Israel, and there's 80,000 Israelis are displaced from northern Israel from their homes as a result of it. But then the second major expansion is clearly the Houthis, and quite remarkably, despite the fact there's a multinational force in the region trying to protect shipping and escort ships through the Red Sea, the reality is the Red Sea is the entrance and the exit from the Suez Canal, and virtually 50% of the shipping going through the Suez Canal is not taking place. They're going around the Horn of Africa, and that's impacting the global supply chain and to some extent the global economy. So this has been a stunning achievement by the Houthis to disrupt the global supply chain like this, and the United States and our allies have not been able to stop it. It is really quite remarkable.
I find it astonishing. This is not even a national army. It is a rebel army. I know it's got control now of the Yemen's capital, but seriously, General, how does a ragtag rebel army in a country few people could locate on a map able to cause this much damage without being bombed to smithereens? I mean, can't an American jet place a well-placed bomb somewhere?
Oh, there is absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, on American television, and radio, we have been commenting just about on a regular basis here for weeks that the United States and our allies would stand for this. I mean, we could take down their rockets, missiles, infrastructure, their radars that are helping to guide them, and their command and control in one night, maybe two at best, and not even threaten any of our pilots. And we know the locations of all of this. We have an administration here that is afraid to confront Iran because the Houthis are driven and ordered and supported by Iran. And they fear an escalation with Iran, and Iran knows it, and they're encouraging the Houthis to do more. It is an amazing sign of weakness on the part of the United States. I mean, I'm sad to say, but that is actually the case. And furthermore, you know, for your audience to understand, Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and Syria have been attacking U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria over 100 times since October the 7th. And we have not done much about it other than kill an Iranian-backed militia leader in Iraq, which was a good thing to do. But we really haven't done anything to stop the attacks. And we have been feeble and reluctant to deal with Iran directly. It is amazing what has taken place here. And it's just an incredible sign of weakness. And our adversaries, Russia, North Korea, certainly China, President Xi, is all seeing this play out right before their eyes, the kind of weakness that is on display, which incentivizes them, Andrew.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, if you're tearing your hair out about America's weakness, what about Australia? We couldn't even send one single ship to help this multinational fleet that's trying to stop this these Houthi attacks on shipping there. We couldn't find one that could do the job. I mean, it's just astonishing. The war between Israel and Hamas, the Hamas terrorist group in Gaza, Hamas also funded by Iran, as you've noted. The US is putting pressure now on Israel to end this war, saying too many civilians are dying. How's this playing out?
Yeah, well, I think what is really happening here, certainly there has been significant pressure behind the scenes on the IDF and on Israel to change the nature of their operations, less air attacks, and also focus their ground operations more on leadership, high-value targets, and conducting raids as opposed to clearing operations. The Israelis are still conducting clearing operations, and there's also a pressure for a ceasefire coming from the international community. The United States has not been pressing for a permanent ceasefire, certainly a temporary one if we could get the hostages out. But I think what's at risk here, to be frank about it, Andrew, is whether Israel is going to succeed or not, because they have got to be free to conduct, particularly their ground operations, to clear out the Hamas fighters, their infrastructure, their rockets and the missiles, to clear out these tunnels. All of this will take time. And yes, it could go on for many more months to be able to do this systematically. If you're going to accomplish the objective, which Prime Minister Netanyahu has given his military, dismantle Hamas and prevent Hamas from governing in the Gaza Strip again. Well, to dismantle it means you really got to take down the fighters, the leaders, and their infrastructure and their tunnel complex. And I believe they run the very risk, Andrew, and I'm dead serious about this, of not winning this war if they're pulling back and this pressure continues, and they're not able to conduct the comprehensive operations that are required here to accomplish the military objective.
General Jack Keane, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.